So a couple of things we're going to deal with today. We have our tree diagram from 9.1. We're going to have a Venn diagram, which some of you guys may be familiar with. That's with the circles and the overlap. And then we have what we call a two-way table as well. So here we're given 3 pieces of information in connection to the introduction story. So there were 8,756 females, 6,010 males who responded. Out of all the males, 59.7 chose vanilla over chocolate, and then 4,732 females chose chocolate. So here's what I want you to do. You have the question: upon first observations, which flavor do you think won? So in the blank, you're going to type in vanilla or chocolate, whatever one you think won based on those 3 pieces of information. And then underneath that, I want you to write a sentence that describes or explains why you chose chocolate or vanilla, whatever one you end up choosing. Now within this explanation, you need to refer back to one of those 3 pieces of information. Either you talk about total number of response, the males, or the females. You need to refer back to one of those in your reasoning why you chose chocolate or vanilla. Give it a couple minutes, and then we'll be able to share as a group, and then we'll share out as a class. So chocolate and why? More people chose it? So a lot of females? Okay. All right, go and sit down. All right, Tomas, what you got for me? Okay, so same idea. Good. All right, Andrea.
I say chocolate over vanilla because more than half the girls guys statement there were like more.
Okay, good. Brianna.
First graph, I see half of females picking vanilla, over half of males picking vanilla, so it looks like vanilla is the majority.
Okay. Good. All right, Jesus. Okay, because the number of females. Good. Arian. Shh.
Vanilla.
Okay.
About 60% of the males chose vanilla, and then about 50% of the females chose.
All right, good. Waverly. Okay. And Damien. Okay, good. All right, next thing. You have a table here. Shh. You're given information that you can use to fill this table in. Then you're going to have to do a little bit of work to figure out the rest of it. I'm going to give you a little bit of time within your groups. Use the information. They give you totals there. We had those 3 bullet points from the previous slide. You also have that there in your notes. Use that to fill in the rest of this table. So there are 7 different boxes you're going to fill in, and then I'll call on people to share out. Go.
Female vanilla, I got 4,024.
4,024. And how'd you get that?
I subtracted 8,756 by 4,732 and got my product.
Okay, so we subtracted our total. We took our total and subtracted our known amount, which we decided to skip and not fill that in first, but we'll come back to that one. All right. Yeah, the given information. Good. All right. So given females that like chocolate is 4,732. We check, we add those together, that gives us our 8,756. One of the other pieces of information that we're given is 59.7 of males chose vanilla. If we're going to multiply, we convert our percentage to a decimal, so 0.597, and then we can multiply that by the total amount. We multiply that, and we got, what was our amount again? 3,500. 3,587.97. So we're going to round that up to 3,588. All right. Okay, total for everything is what?
14,766.
14,766. And how'd you get that number?
We added the 8,766.
So what do those numbers represent?
Vanilla voted.
The total females and the total males. Good. All right, go and pick someone. All right, give me another box.
The total for chocolate,
Okay,
7,154.
7,154. And how'd you figure that out?
I added the female chocolate.
So we added the female and our unknown male currently.
Oh, you guys didn't get that.
We haven't got that yet, but that's okay. So
It's not 154, it's 154.
we'll get there eventually. All right. 2,422. And how'd you come up with that number? Good. Subtract. Take 6,010, subtract 3,588, and you get 2,422. And last one, 7,612. And how'd you come up with that number? Good. Add the male and female vanilla straight down. F stands for female, C is for chocolate. This whole oval is our female. This whole oval is our chocolate, which means our intersection, Baker, is both. So that would be the females that like chocolate. Okay, that's our intersection. So it includes both. All right, and then Ignacio, you gave me females that chose vanilla for our tree diagram. What was that? 4,000? Okay. Good.
2,422.
2,422 for chocolate for males. Good. Vanilla males. What do you got?
3,588.
Good. 3,588. All right. Now to the Venn diagram, which can be a little bit trickier if we're not fully paying attention. Anyone want to volunteer?
Going to be 8,756.
8,756. And how'd you come to that number?
I noticed that one side says F, which is stand for female, and there's no abbreviation for C except for chocolate. So why would they talk about one gender liking vanilla, one gender liking chocolate? So like, okay, so F side's probably going to be vanilla, and the C side's going to be chocolate. The center is going to be the combined population of the participants.
Okay, so you think that is the combined population of all the participants?
All the females.
Oh, of all the females. Okay. So, all right. Jonathan, what do you got?
In the center, I put 7,612.
7,612. And how'd you come up with that?
Times the thing right here.
So the total amount of vanilla.
Yeah.
So we have a Venn diagram that has females and chocolate, and you went with the total amount of vanilla.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're saying 7,154. Okay, why'd you say 7,154?
Total.
That's the total amount of chocolate. But what's our Venn diagram taking? What two things?
I know, I meant to put in the chocolate.
Chocolate and then females. So you want this one over here? Is what you're saying? Or no, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ignacio, what do you got for me? All right, took yours? All right, so we're kind of wrong. Vanessa, what do you got? Okay, and why do you have 4,732? Good. Remember our intersection, we have females and we have chocolate, and the intersection is the intersection of both. So how many females like chocolate? That is 4,732, right? Because that's the intersection of, we have females in this group, we have chocolate in this group. When we intersect, that is now females that like chocolate. Now, going back to one of our totals, that wasn't a bad idea. As we look at this and that, what does 4,732 plus 4,024 add to? 8,756, which is the total amount of females. So we have that total amount of females in there. Now, based on that information, what goes in the chocolate leftover spot now? Maria? And why 2,422? Good. Again, we are still counting all of that as our chocolate. We've already incorporated some of our chocolate. This is now the leftover people who chose chocolate, which in this case with the total number of men. So we have male chocolate, female chocolate together. That's our total amount of chocolate. So that's how a Venn diagram works. So sometimes that number is split up between sections depending on how it's divided. All right, we'll pause here for today. Pick this up tomorrow. The two-way table, the Venn diagram, or the tree diagram. I want you to go back to what we talked about at the beginning where you had to choose chocolate or vanilla. I want you to re-look at that, having all of this information played out in those three different charts. And I want you to choose chocolate or vanilla again. And this time you're going to support it with actual data from one of those charts. Okay, so which one is the preferred flavor and why? When you give me the why, it needs to include actual numbers from the chart. So as we look back,
I think vanilla won with 7,612 out of 14,766 people like vanilla. So the percentage is 51.5% of people like vanilla.
Okay, good. So vanilla, because what was the number?
7,612
7,612.
out of 14,766 people.
14,766
766
people
like vanilla.
chose vanilla or like vanilla. Good. And then I like how you added the percentage.
It was 51.5% of people like vanilla.
51.5.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And I saw a couple of others that use the same reasoning. Okay, did anyone choose chocolate as a preferred flavor? No? Now, did you change your mind?
No, I still have chocolate.
Well, I'll then share yours. It's creative. No one else thought of it. Come on.
The most preferred flavor for the women is chocolate because 4,732 out of 8,756 of the women chose it.
So most preferred for women is chocolate. And what were your numbers again?
4,732
4,732.
out of 8,756.
Okay, good. Now, when I said to give a response, I didn't say it had to be the overall best one. I just said you had to choose a preferred flavor and support it by the data. With that data, you could have done the overall, which most of us default to, which would be vanilla. But if we just looked at the women definitely chose chocolate at a higher rate than they did vanilla. So if you said, hey, I'm just going to look at the women in this, maybe that's your target demographic that you're trying to market to as an ice cream company, then chocolate would be the preferred. So one thing you'll learn about statistics is there's ways you can manipulate or look at the data to get different types of answers based on what you would want out of it. We have a table here, and what we're looking for is we're really just comparing the three different types of charts that we had. So a tree diagram, a two-way table, or a Venn diagram. We're trying to identify when is one easier, which one gives us better piece of information, which one gives us harder or is harder to find that information. So I'll help get you started here. So hidden is hard to find. So on a Venn diagram, I think it's harder to see the overall probability. Okay, because if we go back to look at our Venn diagram, for our example, it just talks about females in chocolate, and it doesn't necessarily give us enough information because it doesn't give us all the information about males and vanilla. So for a Venn diagram, I would say it's hard to see your overall probabilities. Now for a two-way table, I think it's easy. All right, here, let's do, I'll do tree diagram. So tree diagram, I think it's easy to see group amounts. Because you look at your branches, they specifically tell you chocolate females have this much. Vanilla females have this much. Okay? Same thing for males. So I think it's easy because they already organize it in the aspect of groups. So what I want you to do is fill in the other 4 blocks of that table. 2 of them that are easy to see, and then 2 of them where it's harder to find information, and then we will come back together and discuss them. Two-way table is really the only one that gives us the specific total without having to do any other work. So the total for a two-way table is probably easiest to identify. Okay, so focus for Venn diagram. What's next? Is false positives. Now in this one, doesn't have false positive, false negatives because we're not doing specific testing. Okay. So let's think about what else could be difficult to see in a tree diagram. Okay, so in a tree diagram, it's also hard to see the total. Okay, because we'd have to add, which is not a big deal, but it's hard to see our totals in that one. At least not readily apparent. And then the last one I think is the hardest one to kind of come up with, the two-way table. There's not a lot of things bad about it, but what I think is there's a lot of data involved. And to figure out how things are set up, you have to kind of make sure you're matching rows and columns properly. So it gives you more information, but sometimes that can be a bad thing because you have to do a little bit of work to make sure you're matching everything up properly there. All right, so here's what we're going to end with today. We're going to get logged into Socrative. You guys are going to respond to this question. Based on everything we've talked about of different diagrams, about the data, about what the probabilities are, do you think it is enough information to proclaim the statement that one ice cream is favored over another? So a lot of us said vanilla. So do we have enough information to make that a statement that works? So you're going to log in, everybody's going to answer, and then we're going to vote, and then whoever gets the most votes will be our winner.